Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to CrickBuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
This is Crick Buzz Chatter, Day 2, SCG, Australia and England. A day that was all about Usman Khawaja, 35 years of age, back into the Test team in most unusual circumstances due to a COVID case in the camp. And did he make it count? 137 of the best, Mike Hussey. He is going to give the selectors all kind of headaches for all the right reasons.
Well, that's right. We thought the selectors had headaches with Josh Hazlewood potentially coming back and Scott Boland potentially missing out on this Test match. But now they've got a whole bunch more headaches now. Usman Khawaja batted magnificently. He really did. And it was not an easy pitch to bat on. There was certainly some uneven bounce and some seam movement there, but he looked so solid in his defence. He had to work some tough periods. But then, his first 50 took quite a period of time to get there. But after that, he just looked so assured at the crease and really started to blossom with that innings, and particularly good against the faster bowlers off the back foot. A number of pull shots, he just looked like he'd never left Test cricket really. And it was a magnificent 100, and I'm sure it would have meant a lot to him. Incidentally, it was 4 years to the day when he scored a Test century against England in the Ashes series. A little bit of synergy there as well, but it would have meant the world to him because he's been out of this team for a while, and what a fantastic innings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think the highlights package will necessarily reflect the innings. It'll be a beautiful highlights package. Some of those pull shots were to die for, but you're right. He did have to graft, didn't he? That first hour today was not easy going by any stretch of the imagination. 3 rain delays, a second new ball to get through with Anderson and Broad. He was put down on 27 by Root and Butler kind of at first slip from the bowling of Leach. He had to do the hard work first, lay the foundation, and then take advantage later on. In fact, you could say a beautifully paced innings.
Yeah, most definitely. And you think back to day one, late on day one, when England were coming, they'd taken a couple of late wickets, and he had to negotiate that period with Steve Smith, got through that, and then built a really good partnership with Steve Smith. And Steve Smith was dismissed with the second new ball, but Usman Khawaja was able to go on. But like any long innings that you play in Test cricket, there's always going to be times when it ebbs and flows, times when you're playing well and scoring seems easy. But then there's other periods when the opposition are in a good spell and it's difficult to get them away. The conditions were really challenging and every batsman struggled, but he looked to be the most assured of himself. He looked really solid with his defence, keeping that good ball out. But then as soon as they erred in line and length, he just jumped all over it. He's a very relaxed customer now. You know, he's sort of at peace with who he is as a person, at peace with his game. And, this innings, it just showed that he's still got a lot of Test cricket to play.
Yeah, he got good support from Stephen Smith, who made 67. How's this for a stat? Stephen Smith's batted 13 times at the SCG, and 10 of them he's made at least 50, which gives you some sense of just how prolific he is here on his home ground, but not really from the lower middle order. Carey out in a way that he probably want to forget. Green got a good one, but still out in single digits once more. And it meant that the kind of lower middle order, which I think we could describe Mitchell Starc as at the moment, and Pat Cummins, the captain at number 8, they provided a great service to Khawaja, getting him beyond 3 figures and ensuring that Australia would be in a position where they could declare with 20 minutes before the close of play.
Pat Cummins or Mitchell Starc tail enders. You know, they've actually made some very good contributions with the bat over the years. Mitchell Starc's got a 99 in Test cricket. Pat Cummins made a couple of half centuries, I think, as well. So, they're decent players in their own right. It was an interesting declaration. I wasn't sure whether the Aussies would look to declare tonight. First innings runs are going to be really important. This pitch, it's already deteriorating and we're seeing some uneven bounce, and it's only going to get worse as the Test match goes on. So I wondered if they might just try and make as many as they could. But having said that, the opportunity that presented itself to have to give the English opening batsman a nasty 20 minutes tonight, as a former opening batsman myself, that's one of the toughest times to bat. So I could understand why the Australians did it. I think the first innings score of over 400 is a pretty good score. And England did well to get through tonight, albeit with a little bit of luck with Mitchell Starc overstepping. But they'll be happy to go in none down overnight, but plenty of work to do tomorrow.
going back to the bowling side of things with England, though, they really did stick well to their task, didn't they? Given the humiliating defeat at Melbourne, there's no other word for it, really, losing in 2 days and not even a session, losing the Ashes in straight sets. You can imagine a capitulation here wouldn't have been out of the question, but Stuart Broad never gave the sense of that, nor did Jimmy Anderson yesterday. Mark Wood kept charging in. Jack Leach did his job, especially, though, Broad taking 5 wickets here at the SCG, a ground he struggled at before. That'll mean a lot to him personally, but it'll also remind a lot of people, I suppose, back in England that he's still got something to offer at this top level.
He bowled beautifully. He really did. He kept charging in all day. His 19th 5-wicket haul in Test cricket, which is phenomenal in itself, 6th against Australia. And yeah, it was a magnificent performance. And he got good players out. He got Steve Smith out with a really good ball. He got David Warner out again with a very good delivery, and got the century maker Khawaja out, a ball that seemed back in a little bit as well. So he got good players out as well. I agree with you. I thought the English stuck at their task really well. Mark Wood, he just keeps charging in. What a lion-hearted man he is to have in the team. His pace was up all day. Jimmy Anderson showed his quality, and even Jimmy Anderson, he showed his attitude in the field. Even after he was bowling, he was still charging around in the field like a 21-year-old, not like a 39-year-old. So I think the English, they're giving it their best. They really are. But the Aussies are just high on confidence at the moment.
Yeah, and that was shown at the very end as well. Nathan Lyon clouting a 6 off Broad to finish it, so they declared accordingly. Huss, let's go quickly into the hotspot. In the hotspot tonight, back to Usman Khawaja, who received such a marvellous ovation from the Sydney crowd. That LeBron James-style celebration. There'll be iconic images here at his home ground. But the big question is, does he keep his spot for Hobart? I mean, it's kind of if you reduce it back to core principles, is Usman Khawaja in the best 6 players in Australia? It's difficult to answer that no. And on that basis, where does he fit? Is it back opening again, which is tough on Marcus Harris, given the way he played at Melbourne and again yesterday? But is that the spot he ultimately gets shuffled into? Or is Travis Head just one of the most unlucky players in the history of Test cricket to get left out of the team because of COVID and have his spot taken by someone who's walked back in and made 100? How do you see that playing out?
Well, I firstly, I wouldn't like to be a selector. That's the first thing. It's difficult, and I'm sure there'll be lots of discussions going on behind closed doors. I think the selectors had a tough call to make coming into the series. They decided to back Marcus Harris at the top of the order. They decided to go for Travis Head over Usman Khawaja. Difficult choice. I think it could have gone either way. Travis Head comes out and makes 150 in the first Test match and virtually cements his place in the team for the rest of the series. I think Marcus Harris, I think they want him to do well, and they will back him for this series. So I personally think that much like when if Josh Hazlewood was going to be fit, Scott Boland, despite a magnificent performance in Melbourne, the same thing possibly could happen here for Usman Khawaja. Magnificent innings, but they'd sort of shown their hand by saying, no, we've picked Travis Head over Usman Khawaja at the start. Travis Head hasn't done too much wrong, so let's stick and back that decision. Now, the other argument is, okay, do you move Usman Khawaja to the top of the order? There could be some discussion about that. Personally, I still think they should just back Marcus Harris. They made that decision at the start of the series. The series has gone well. Yes, Marcus Harris would have liked a few more runs, but I think it sends a good message to the rest of the team by saying, we've picked this guy, we're going to show faith in him, we're going to back him in. And that helps everyone else in the batting order, because if you have a couple of low scores yourself, you think, you can come in and you might play a little bit more selfishly. But no, if you know the selectors are going to back you and trust you, then you can go out there and continue to play your way and know you've got the backing. And I think that's an important message to send to everyone in the team.
Yeah, good point. Well made. Huss, let's press fast forward. Fast forward, Huss, saving a Test match. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily where England's mindset should be at this stage, but they have racked up, they have shelled more than 400 runs. So the probability of winning from here is relatively low. How do you chart a course across 3 days to try and split the difference when they're so far from the finish line? What does tomorrow look like for England?
Well, I don't think they should be thinking about the end result. That's the first thing. Don't be thinking about winning, losing, or even trying to draw the Test match. I think they've just got to put all their focus on batting as well as they possibly can in this first innings. It's about batting time, building partnerships, someone going on and making a big score, making a big 100. I think it's Joe Root's the man. You know, he's threatened throughout this series. He's batted beautifully. He probably deserves 100 on Australian soil. So that's got to be the focus, is putting as much effort and energy into this first innings and then see where it takes and try and bat up to Australia's score and go past them if they can. It's not going to be easy. This pitch, it's showing signs of deterioration already, and it's only been day 2. There's cracks opening up and some variable bounce there. They're going to need some luck.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope it's another competitive day of Test cricket. But today, day 2, belonged to Usman Khawaja. This has been Crick Buzz Chatter. Adam Collins, Mike Hussey. Can't wait to do it all again tomorrow at the SCG.